Hi, this is John Tate, and we're going to look at how to organise your online reading via your social networks. As social networks are being accessed more and more from mobile devices while we are on the go, the challenge has become how do we organise, bookmark or file all of those great articles so that we can go back to them for a more in-depth read at a later date. Luckily, the answer is at our fingertips. The Pocket app, which is available in the App Store, is the new must-have app that lets you organise your online reading, meaning you don't have to worry about not finding that gem of an article that you read last week. So how does it work? In Twitter, and I'm just going to use the mobile app here because, like we said, more and more of us are using the social networks on the go. You will find in your settings there is a Read Later tab, which is highlighted here. And as you can see, I've got mine set with Pocket. If you open an online account with Pocket and then you go into your settings here, you'll be able to actually access that and make sure that happens in there. What then happens is when you're in Twitter and you see a fantastic article that you want to keep for later, you just hold down on the URL in the tweet itself, and this window here pops up. And then what you want to do is you want to select the Read Later tab, and that will automatically save the article to your Pocket account. Then, when you open Pocket, the Pocket app on your phone, on your smartphone, you will see this window here, and what you'll see is I've got 3 articles here that have been saved to my Pocket account. And the next slide I'm going to show you is that if you see here they're tagged, and there are 3 tags here, different tags on each one. You can tag every article, meaning that you can actually organise and store them and file them into certain areas. So here we have all my tags. I can browse by tags, so I've got lots of different tags here that I've filed and organised all my online articles into Pocket. So it's not just a mass of articles. They've been tagged in certain areas, which makes it a lot easier to go back to months later. I was asked by a member of staff as I walked through his classroom a few weeks ago, John, have you got anything on questioning? Yeah, no problem at all. I went straight in a Pocket, found all the articles that I'd tagged with questioning. Yeah, here you go, have a look through these. And it's brilliant to then be able to store those to look back on whenever you want. The beauty of Pocket is it also has a desktop version, and this is the desktop window here, and you can see that on the right hand side all of my tags in here, and then I've selected blogging at the moment just to show you, and then I've got a whole host of articles here that have been tagged in my blogging section. So wherever I am in any internet enabled device in the world, I can access all of the articles that I have saved and bookmarked in Pocket, and I can use them and I can share them from anywhere I want. The second method we're going to look at is probably the most underused feature in Twitter, which is Twitter lists. As we become more familiar with Twitter and begin to follow more and more users, we inevitably get to the situation where our timeline becomes so busy that we may find it unmanageable with hundreds and hundreds of tweets sat unread. This is where Twitter lists comes into its own, letting you manage your timeline more effectively. What I've got here is the native Twitter app on the iPhone, showing a series of lists that I've got here that I've created, enabling me to actually list people in different areas, so I can manage that a little bit easier rather than having just one timeline with a whole host of different people from different genres in there. What I want to show you now is a Twitter app, or a Twitter client really, called Tweetbot, which I was introduced to via many people on Twitter who said that this is actually a lot easier way of using Twitter lists, and it's a lot better than the actual native Twitter app. Here I want to show you how if I'm finding someone on Twitter and I say I want to follow them, I would click the button there that I'm highlighting. It takes me straight to this page here which says manage list memberships, and I literally click that and I can add them to any list I want to. I don't even need to be following that person to add them to a list, which is brilliant. I can then create lists of teachers, or international speakers, or PE teachers, or history teachers, geography teachers. I can create all these different lists so that at any point I can actually start to browse those lists rather than having to wade through my timeline of different people. All I do then from the app is at the top you can see there where it says timeline. I would just click on that, and then what would happen is it would open up and drop down to this menu here, which has got all my lists in, and I can just click on any one of these lists and it will take me straight away to that list and all the tweets from the people within that list, making it a lot easier to be able to do that. Now, for further reading on Twitter lists and why you should or why you shouldn't feel like you should have to restrict who you follow, I highly recommend Daniel Edwards' blog post, which you can see here on the screen. And if you're not following him on Twitter, make sure he's your next follow, and you can find him here. That's his Twitter handle, and make sure he's a fantastic resource for all things education on Twitter. Well, thanks for listening. If you want to contact me, you can do either on Twitter @TeamTade down here, or at my blog edutate.com.